We've got it. This is the one. We're checking the game.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to LA Off the Record. I'm your host, Tami Goveia. Now, contrary to belief, live theater is alive and well here in Los Angeles, and I have proof in the studio today. There is a show, a play called Misery, that is being performed right now, and we've got Sean Faris, we've got Julie Dove, and we've got the director, Ann Hearn Tobolowsky, to convince everyone to get out and see a play. Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Thank you for being here. Saw it yesterday.
Thank you.
And we were just actually having this conversation of, I've heard of Misery. I've seen the film, read the book. Wasn't going in with expectations of seeing what I saw in the film because it's theater, yes? So my thought was, how are they going to do this? There's not that many people, and it's extraordinarily hard. It's basically a two-person play for 99% of the time. I want to start with, how did this all begin? Because are you the catalyst, Julie? Is this all your fault?
I'm the delusional person that said, let's do Misery. I just... the industry is slow. Everyone's talking about it, and I wanted to create a project for myself to be in, and I wanted to do a small cast, and I had been thinking about Misery because I had done research when I played the delusional person, Connie Vaninsky on Days of Our Lives, and Kathy Bates' portrayal of Annie Wilkes was one of the performances I kind of delved into, and so I bought the stage play and held on to it for about 4 or 5 months, and then started trying to put a team together in July, and then I guess we had auditions in August, and we've been rehearsing since September. We've had probably about 4 weeks off for different hiatuses and holidays, but thank goodness I found a group of people that were willing to work for a very long time based on my personal work schedule, and also for very little money.
Well, there is an always unsung hero, and that's a casting director. So I want to give a shout out to Shayna Sherwood.
Shayna Sherwood,
okay.
yeah.
How do you know her, and how did you bring her into this project? And
well, I originally started just trying to talk to people myself and say, hey, do you think you might want to do this? And I don't know, it just felt a little unprofessional and disorganized. So I was like, I need a casting director. So I know Shayna just from how long I've just been here in town and auditioning and things like that. I think I first met her when I auditioned for the newsroom when it was on. And so we've stayed in touch, and I reached out to her, and she was like, oh yeah, I totally want to do this. And we came up with like the list of names and stuff, and Sean was on the list. And John was on the list, who are Buster and Paul. So that's kind of how that came out. And she was great, and she, went to the people's reps. It's funny because when I talked to Sean, I didn't even tell Sherry I was going to reach out because I'm friends, with Sean's wife, Sherry. So she was like, oh, I didn't know you were doing this.
Yeah, it was quite the surprise.
Yeah.
I was like, did you know about this? And she said, I have not spoken to her at all. Well, I'm very surprised that at the very least, I would have thought that you would have been like, hey, just so you know, look out, you might get reached out to by the casting director.
I was like, I have to be professional. I'm not even going to mention it.
No, it's all good.
what was the audition experience like? Where did you have the auditions?
I don't know if they intended to audition me, but by the time I got on and talked to them, I just talked about it as if I was cast. And so I don't know if you had an intention to audition.
We had just meetings with different people.
Yeah,
okay, got it.
We were open to it, but we had a nice conversation, and we sort of felt like hopefully I could work with her, because I certainly felt I could work with Sean, and she came highly recommended, and it seemed like why make it complicated?
Sure. Yeah. That's the best case scenario.
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't even think of the audition process until after the meeting was done, and I was like, oh, I don't know. Because I turned to my wife, and I was like, yeah, I just basically took this as an offer. But I was very excited about it because theater is something that I don't have any experience, and I've only ever done like a one-act play. All the work I've ever done has been film and television, and I've been very fortunate for that keeping me very busy and in my career and paying my bills. But I've always known that it wasn't until I had the courage to do live theater that I would grow to this next level as an actor. And so when this opportunity presented itself, there was a little bit of fear there, but also too, it's an iconic role. Like it's like, oh goodness. But then I had to laugh at myself because, the universe presents me with this opportunity by way of Julie and Ann. And, it's an opportunity where I don't leave the stage the entire play.
Just go all in.
It's not like, you're going to be, in and out and, you're going to have 10 scenes or whatever. No, you're on stage the entire play. And at one point, Ann and I even discussed the possibility about me being on stage before the audience arrives, which I'm glad that we're not doing because sometimes it takes them a little bit longer and we run longer. So
make a very long sit.
Be laying there for like an hour, but might fall asleep, which would be a really interesting way to start it off, actually.
Snoring.
Right? No, really was very excited about it, and I've learned so much. I really have. I'm so grateful. I feel blessed to be a part of the project. So I'm really stoked about it.
Julie, how much theater experience did you have?
Well, a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you're Second City. I mean,
a long time ago.
A long time ago.
So
okay.
It's been 20 years since I've done a lead in a play, and
Okay.
about 10 since I've done a play in LA. But high school, college, community theater after college. So basically, since I was 15 years old. But like I said, it's been a long time since I've done something like this, and it was very challenging, but I was able to rise to the challenge.
Definitely.
With this leadership.
You persisted. I cracked the whip.
She cracked the whip.
The amount of dialogue you have is unbelievable.
And that's the perfect segue, Miss Director.
Yes.
You are the visionary. You have something that you have in your mind that you've collectively agreed on, and now it's your job to manifest it physically.
Yeah, it was Julie, as producer, also had hired the set, lighting, not sound, because the sound was a connection I had, and so it was like, and then she hired me, and so it's like, okay, we had conversations about what did she want, what were her expectations, and fortunately, I thought we ended up with a great set.
Phenomenal.
And he also did the lighting, which is even more beautiful with the way
Justin
it was
Hume.
presented. Yeah, Justin. And I had seen his other work before, but I didn't know him personally. So I feel like we were very, very lucky, or Julie was very smart that she got that going. And conceptually, he came up with the way we would be in more than one location in a very tiny, tiny theater. And so we just tried to, how can we make this work with the limitations that we have, limitations in budget, space, requirements of the play, which are probably ideally designed for a theater with means and space to have lots of magic happen. But it was fun for us, I thought, to try to figure out, okay, how are we're going to see everything. We don't want a 23 scene play with lots of blackouts with nothing to look at. So some of it was just figuring out how do we get from point A to point B.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was fun. And they were very game to play that with me. So we were able to not have to stop the play in the middle to change something.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I notice there's also a lot of business that the two of you have.
Yes.
While it's dark and the
Yes.
scene is changing, there's a lot of business, and you stay in character.
Yes, they
while
must.
he's
I do my
moving
best.
furniture.
Yes.
I do my best. Opening night, I got stuck between the desk and the bed, and I had to cheat a little bit. But these things happen. The show must go. I'm learning all about how the show just keeps going on.
The show must go on.
You should always check that table bed position to make sure
Well,
that
no,
it's where it's supposed to
It's
be.
because I got a little flustered and rushed myself, and I didn't back in.
Oh.
I went head in, and I was like, "Oh, it's okay. I'll figure it out." And then I was like, "Oh shit! Now I got to figure it out." Excuse my language.
Mistakes are reasonable and possible.
Yeah.
Yes,
You
it's
did
live
great.
theater. It's live theater.
You know, and to your point, Sean, live theater, even if you've only done television and your next project is film, it's a different beast. Completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And now film, television to live theater, completely different beast.
Night and day. Night and day. I mean, film to television, television to film, they're very similar mediums. Completely different medium when you get to stage.
Yeah.
But to theater. But I love it. It's awesome.
So how does it stretch the both of you artistically doing theater?
Well, I mean, there's nothing like, places. As soon as you get the call for places, like you're going, no matter what's happening, the play is happening. Unless someone is injured, you're performing right then.
You have improv background, yes?
Yeah, that's why from the Second City and everything.
Yeah, in some sense, it's just say yes.
Yeah, I mean, I told Sean, because I tried to never be like, I have all this more experience than you in theater. But I did say, I have a lot of improv background.
Right.
I will get us back going if I drop us off. So, and when we did, was it the last rehearsal where there was no bottle of wine on the stage?
Yes.
And
Yeah,
I
that was
said,
good.
And
That's
I
great.
said, well, Paul, let me go get the wine. I went backstage and got the bottle of wine because we can't do the scene without the wine. So I'm super comfortable in that. Yeah, I love improv. So yeah, I've done the improv shows all over town. A lot of the theaters have closed down, but UCB, Improv Olympic, the Second City Los Angeles is gone. That's where I studied all my Second City stuff for 2 years. And but yeah, it's amazing training for life and the stage.
What are your thoughts on theater in Los Angeles? The landscape of it.
I'll let Ann go first.
I love it because I think there is everything from, shows from New York, big theater, Schubert, Amundsen, and all of that, to last year I did a play that had 12 seats in it, and this whole stage was about the size that you have here. So you had people eating cake where you could touch them. So everything from that range, I just think there's a lot of wild, creative people that are desperate for outlet for that creativity. And so that makes a lot of interesting actors and possibilities in LA, I think.
I have to say, when Julie and I were initially speaking about having this opportunity to talk about the show Misery, I immediately knew I wanted you on the show. Because I wanted John. I can only accommodate 3 at a time.
Sorry, John, we love
And
you.
so I thought, I really want Ann. I really want Ann. Just that perspective of a female
thank you.
director,
Yeah, no,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
Whether it's film, television, especially the theater, that's a big deal.
And I think also because, especially when you do small theater, you're not doing it for any other reason than love
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
passion. You can't, it's too hard. And you're not going to get rich or famous. So only thing you're going to get out of it is that you really love the people you're working with, or you love the material, the project, hopefully both. And then, you can put up with all the ordeals, the expectations, Julie's foot, your back.
I broke my ankle. Sean hurt his back. I broke my ankle in
there was a
October.
There was a lot of perseverance that
lot of
happened, and I'm
hurdles, yeah.
so proud of them and for all of the effort that they put into it, which could only come from love and respect for the idea of doing theater and what it takes to do it, because it's hard.
There's been nothing at all easy about this process by any means, but it's also been such an incredible learning ground. I think I haven't seen the quote myself, but somebody mentioned that it was a Denzel quote that he always said, forget all the hoopla. Like, you really want to get to the nuts and bolts of acting, go and do theater. That's
Yeah.
the foundation. And so, and I gotta say, there's not a note that I've received from Ann that has not just been like,
Yeah.
that's
She gives good notes.
amazing. And like, it's just, it almost seems effortless. And your passion for what you do is
right.
it literally like, it's like your aura. Your passion for this, like
good.
it emanates from you. Like it's like I see it come off of you like heat waves. I am any day of the week. I would love to work with you again.
Well, like I
100%.
I feel the same. So that's good.
I would love it too. Yeah, that's awesome.
I admire so much the work ethic, and if anybody ever thought like, oh, this is too hard, everybody else was like, no, push through. So, and I think we all had moments where we thought, is this going to be possible to get to the end?
Oh yeah.
Because of, well, the schedule, it was a long period of time, but it was 2 to 3 hours a day, 4 days a week, spread over months with breaks in there. And probably the number of hours we put into it is on the low end for what you would typically need for something like this.
But days that were put, the time was set aside to do it, though.
Normally you rehearse 7 days a week, 4 or 5 hours a day, right?
Well, small theater, usually at least 6.
Yeah.
6 days a week. And you might only have maybe 3 hours at night, but then you can usually have 5 or 6 hours on the weekend.
Yeah.
So, you're maybe at least 20 hours a week.
Yeah.
We were more
never-
like 12.
Yeah. So it was hard from the very beginning.
Took off for Thanksgiving, took off for Christmas.
10 days in October.
Yeah. You were traveling.
You
I
were
was traveling.
Yeah.
So,
And those breaks in between are tough
Yes, they
because
did.
you get into a rhythm, you get
Yeah.
into that momentum, and when you've got the breaks in between, you
they
kinda
can be great too, though,
Yeah, I
in the
took
sense
advantage.
Was it good?
that you have all that time to sit with it.
Yep.
It sort of percolates and you learn it and forget it, learn
Yeah.
it and forget it. And then eventually, the third time you've learned it, you go, I think I got this. I know this. I know who I am. I know who these people are. I know who I am in the story if you're the actor. And actually, I got a good idea the other night thinking about it. When you either have deep time, short period of time for long, like summer stock, where you'll, have 2 weeks rehearsal, but you're 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. Or you have a shallow rehearsal where you do a little bit over a long period of time. I actually prefer that.
Yeah, and because we're not a resident theater company, I just rented the space, Moving Arts, which is a great space. They are a company you can go see. The rehearsals weren't there, so we were rehearsing
That
in a
was
totally
my
different
question.
place
Yeah.
without a set, with like a cot for the bed and no kitchen. We never had a kitchen. So it was all just make-believe until we were scheduled to go into Moving Arts 2 weeks before. And then it became very clear, like, we need at least 4 weeks into Moving Arts. So I had to beg them to let us have our setup for 4 weeks. They don't normally let anyone do that. But luckily, our designer, Justin, is the technical director at Moving Arts. So he has a little sway and was able to say, this is really cool. I want to do this. Can we let them do this and make it work? So thank goodness. That was the hardest part of putting this entire project together, was to find a theater. I visited 19 theaters.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And every theater pretty much rents their class, except for places like The Road, where Ann is on the artistic board, right?
Yes.
It's like a company, so they own their theater, so they control everything that happens with it. But all these other theaters rent out for classes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night. So they want you to just rent the space for the weekends for shows, and you can't rehearse at night. They want you to rehearse during the day, which if you have any kind of job, either as a working actor or just an actor that has to work, you can't do that.
Yeah.
One place I almost signed the contract for, a theater I love in Toluca Lake called Two Roads. I said, well, when can I schedule rehearsal time? He goes, what do you mean? And I said, like, when can we rehearse in the space? He goes, well, it's only available from 10 o'clock at night till 6 o'clock in the morning. Can you make that work? And I said, no, I can't.
That would be a hard work life.
Yeah. So, and it's funny because I found Moving Arts through this website called Gigster. I mean, I was just Googling small local theater for rent over and over again and just not getting responses, or people could only do one weekend and no one could do the rehearsal time. And then I talked to the guy from Moving Arts, and I met him. I was like, can you show it to me today? And he said yes. And he said yes to everything, like months in advance. So I was just like, this is it. And it's small, and I knew it was small, but it's a nice 50-seat theater, but it's also 50-seat theater can be even bigger than that, audience space spread out. But I loved how intimate it was. I think everyone feels like they're in the cabin with Paul and Ann.
You were in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that about it too, the space. At first I thought, I don't know how this is going to work, but it's great. And you don't want to be further away than you are. That's part of the fun of it, is that it's right there. You might sacrifice some special effects, realism, because, there's some things that you're not going to have in a theater that's real in this situation. I'm not going to say what.
We don't want
spoiler. But
we don't want to spoil it.
You just go like, okay, well, I'll trade that. I'll trade real and proximity for fancy effects.
Right. We'll allow the audience that suspension of disbelief.
Yes.
Yeah.
Play with us.
Play with us. Come along for the ride. It was interesting when we'd seen the show yesterday, and Sean was talking to some folks afterward, and they were on the younger side of things, and they had never seen the film and had never read the book. And you had said, that's the ideal, to have folks come in who have no idea.
And you get to have
no
this
idea.
Experience. Oh, what an incredible
So
thing.
for the viewers and audio listeners who haven't seen Misery, what is this story about?
Oh, well, I mean, no spoilers, but
Different perspectives here. What do you think it's about, Sean?
I almost, how do I want to approach this? I mean, it's a it's a psychological thriller, is what it is.
Could I say it was a story of a writer? Sean plays a writer, Paul, and he has an accident and is rescued by a woman who lives nearby, and then the rest of the play is their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
a nice vague
And with some surprises.
with
Yes.
some surprises. Yeah.
Yes. That's
like that.
very
That doesn't
well
give away
done.
too much.
Bravo,
It's-
Ann.
yeah,
Bravo.
I don't want to, if put it this way, if you've never seen either or, and you are entertained by theater, or you're into the arts, definitely come and see it, because it's a unique experience.
It's a
that
thrilling ride.
Promises to create tension
Yes.
the entire way from beginning to end.
Yes.
And to that point, pacing of this show in particular, I mean, with anything, pacing is always key, right? Bravo to all
bravo
of you.
to Ann. I would argue
Bravo.
we can
Yeah,
have more
that-
time
that-
here, Ann.
She definitely yelled pace often. Often. You gave us the freedom to get comfortable, and then it was off to the races.
I was like, I can't change into that fast. Yes, you can. She said, yes, you
Yeah,
can.
you just need
Think
practice.
faster.
You need
You just-
time
you
and
just need to
practice, and
think
we
faster.
were compromised with that at the end to have enough, opportunity to put the whole thing together and get a sense of like, oh, this is what it's like when you add the lights and the sound, and you have to do the whole thing at one time. Just the endurance factor is part of it. And then you don't want the audience to get ahead of you. So if the pacing is too leisurely, an audience might do what I do sometimes, is wonder, what kind of ice cream should I buy at the grocery store on the way
You mentally
home?
disconnect,
Yes,
and then you
and
reconnect.
it's too hard
but-
to get the audience back. So I want to stay ahead of the audience a little bit without rushing it. You don't want it to just go by so you want it to breathe. But they were very agreeable to trying different approaches.
I know
to
how
things.
important pacing is to Ann, so much so that I entered early for scene 13 yesterday.
You did. She sat down next to me and she goes, "I'm sorry."
But See, if we had had a little more time for a few more than one time through before we had an audience. I think we had it one time through with everything before the audience. It was a preview rehearsal.
That was the Friday?
Yes.
Friday's the first time we
only
ever.
did-
Are you kidding me?
We only did one rehearsal with all of the stuff before we had a live audience.
Yes.
Before that, it was just us on the stage, no working lights.
Sean
no
had the
working
flu. I hope that's
sound.
okay for me to say.
I
here
had
on
the
phone.
flu for 3 days.
He missed 5 of the last 8 rehearsals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's about it. So
5?
4 maybe, 3 or 4.
It seemed like a week, but they were spread out.
Oh, well, because we had the
weekend.
weekend.
About a week.
Because we went straight through the weekend.
Went straight
didn't
through
we?
the
And I was
weekend.
sick all weekend.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's
But
right.
he just walked back in and was like, "Oh, we're doing all this." And for someone who's never been through a tech, he kept going, "Wow, this is different." And I said, "You're lucky you weren't here Saturday and Sunday."
Yeah. Yes, that would have really tested you.
You wouldn't.
You had that whole experience ahead of you. Hours
you
and
know.
hours of go back and do that again. Could
Right.
you make that entrance again of trying to get the timing just right.
Oh, it's hard.
Well, it's something that you can appreciate having worked in daytime.
yes.
The difference between primetime television and daytime, you get folks who have never done daytime before. They do a soap opera and walk away going, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
how do you do so much in such a short amount of time? You get one take, maybe 2.
Yeah.
It's kind of like doing theater.
Like,
You
it is.
just get thrown in there and you got to figure it out.
It is.
As long as you're prepared
Yeah.
as an actor,
Yeah.
you really have to rely on that preparation, I would think.
Yeah.
I've never done soap, except I think when I was really young, I had like an extra part or one line or something. I'm not counting that. But I've always felt that basically, as an actor, your job is the same. You pretend to be the person, and somebody gives you the lines. This is Sir Ian McKellen's version, the Gandalf skit of this is what I say, and this is who I am. But depending on television or film or soap, dailies or theater, the distractions are different. You need different for film. You need to be able to do 20 takes over and over again if that's what it's taken. For stage, you don't get to stop. You have to do the whole thing at once. It requires a different muscle and different kind of distraction. You don't have a camera looking in your face, but you have an audience, you know, that's, wrapping the candy right in your quiet moment monologue.
And this audience we can shake hands with from the front row.
Yeah. So you just have to learn the distractions and go like, that's part of this experience, but they're not important. What's important is the story I'm telling.
Yeah.
And what I need to accomplish in this story. That's my theory.
No, I love that. That's a hashtag, learn the distractions.
Yeah.
I think that's a good,
And get over them.
it carries over into
Accept
life,
them. Yeah, accept them.
right?
Yeah.
Every situation is going to have a different kind of distraction for you to respond to. So I love that.
I
I'm going to
like
use
that.
that.
I never thought of that. It
Yeah.
has a footprint for life. Thank you. You've given me a gift. Life will be better now this week. I'm just going to remember
Amazing.
that. The different distractions.
That's right.
What do you think are some misconceptions that people have about theater here in Los Angeles? Now that you are doing it and you are in it and you've met some of the people in the community.
Well, I don't know if this is a misconception, but I would just say that one of the reasons why I didn't do theater for so long is because I've always had a day job working 9 to 5. And for a few years, I didn't have that. My acting was paying my bills, including when I was doing Days of Our Lives. So knowing that if I'd done theater before, which most of my friends that were doing it, they would work all day and then go do theater at night. It's really hard. It's like the hardest thing in the world to have to do something all day long and then go spend all night doing your art, So me deciding to do this massive production when I was doing a day job again is incredibly difficult. So I would say that if you're going to support live theater, unless you're going to the Geffen or the Pantages or the Amundsen or the Pasadena Playhouse, if you're going to these nice smaller theaters, the people there have probably been working 40 hours that whole week and still want to be there and perform for you. So I think it's a incredible testament to people's love of the art, and it's a joy to have a live audience. So please support it.
That's great. I like that.
Thank you.
think there's a misconception sometimes that people do theater just sort of as a vanity project, and I have never I've been here since 1979, and I've been involved in a lot of theater, and I've never been involved with a project where that was the motivating force. I mean, certainly you didn't do it for vanity. You did it because it's like, I need to do this.
I need to do art.
Survive and to be okay.
Absolutely.
And I think people don't maybe see that sometimes. They just sort of think, oh, they're just doing this for themselves. Or a lot of my experience too has been with theater companies, which are basically a group of people that come together and say, we'll all function as producers. We'll all provide the lumber and labor needed to build a house, and so that we can live in this house and play in it. So I don't think that sometimes that expectation is there for people of understanding that these are people that have come together as a team to build something for them to have an artistic expression in.
Well, I'll just jump on the elephant in the room, according to me, is that LA theater is terrible. And that's the misconception I came in with. And after having worked with Ann as the director, and what I've learned from her in this process and how much passion she brings to it, I know for a fact anything that she touches is going to be fantastic. So that misconception for me is definitely gone now, or at least it's been bore out of me. I can't speak for the other theater companies and what they're doing, but I also have not myself spent much time supporting live theater in LA. I've only been to a handful of plays in the 26 years now? 26 years I've lived in LA. But a lot of that, too, is because of work, travel, all over the place. I just really, I guess I don't travel in circles that are big supporters of live theater. Now I will definitely. If you're doing a project, I would definitely want to go and check it out anytime that you have something hitting the
Word
stage.
of mouth.
I won't mislead you.
Yeah, I know. I know. And I'll know what those actors have been through.
I've been going, like the last year, I've spent time going to people's shows, trying to build some show karma, and just trying to immerse myself into the theater and supporting and seeing a lot of theater. And I was very judgmental when I first came here. I grew up in Texas, and Texas has incredible theater, community theater, high school theater, middle school theater, your church theater. It is high level acting, production, and everything. So I was a bit of a snob when I came here, and I was like, wait, these plays aren't as good as some of the high school productions I saw. But that was just a misconception. I've seen incredible theater this last year. I've seen about 10 shows at a lot of the smaller theaters, and there's a lot of it out there, you know.
And as far as the whole idea that it's a vanity thing, I mean, the reason that I'm doing this is because it's a new experience to grow as an actor, to challenge myself in ways I've never been challenged before, and you know, in that process, to take away whatever knowledge crumbs that Ann will. She doesn't just give crumbs though. I mean, Ann just douses you in buckets of information that are just oh my goodness.
And she has the best personal stories and anecdotes.
Yeah, and also too, when you know, every now and again she'll turn it on as an actor, and you're like, oh damn, you're talented. Like it's there. So. I'm very grateful to now understand, you know, that was just a thought that I had that, you know, people may have mentioned. I am very fortunate to have had this opportunity, and I'm eternally grateful. And that misconception is gone for me now.
Dust.
No, completely.
In the past. How much longer is the show running?
We have 2 more weekends, 4 more shows. The last show is sold out, but we have a waiting list in case we have any cancellations. So we'd love to have you on the 7th, 8th, or the 14th.
So Saturday and Sunday.
Saturdays and Sundays.
Okay. And where can folks find tickets and get information? And
Misery Play LA or at Julie Dove on Instagram. I check my messages.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. This for making it. You know, toddler. You're in the toddler world, and
it
we
was
really
very
appreciate
hairy.
it.
It was a very hairy wire to wire. I mean, like I said,
you're
my life
here.
is wire to wire. It
Right.
always is. They always laugh. Every time I show up, they're like, "How are you today?" I'm like, "I'm exhausted." Like, "You're always tired." It's like, yeah,
It's
well,
like
you
live
know,
I've been
theater.
exhausted for
that's-
20
yes,
years.
yes.
What are you going to do when you don't have this? You're going to be like, oh, my life is so easy.
No, I'm gonna miss it. That's what's gonna happen. You know.
I'm going to produce another play if I can find some more money.
And I wanted to thank you again.
Thank you for inviting me.
You represent such a very magical and special demographic, of female directors.
Thank you.
And specifically in theater. You inspire and you teach, and what you, I don't know if you know this, you create legacies. Like the imprint that you are making on Sean and Julie and the cast and the crew, they will carry on for the rest of their lives. So I want
Well,
you to know how appreciated you are.
Thank you. I hope it's been more fun than not.
You are literally one of my most favorite directors to have ever worked with. And we got to do it for months. So
Well, you're wonderful to work with, both of you, and I really appreciate everything that you brought and the questions you asked and the resistance, even the pushback, because it made me grow and think too. So
Yeah.
I learned a lot. Thank you.
Oh, and thank you. Thank you for being so humble. The humility is like
Yeah.
every time I had a question, she's like, "That's a great question."
Yeah.
Like there's no bad questions. So just thank you, because it's not always like that.
And Julie,
Yes.
your ability, which it gets me excited because we are kind of doing the same thing, but in different areas. Putting the producer hat on for the first time, we're doing it all because we love what we do,
Yeah.
right? And so you inspire me as well
thank
to
you.
just keep going.
You
I think
inspire me too.
did I mention that to you? Or I think I mentioned it to you yesterday. I was in a writing class eons ago, and my teacher would always write at the top, "Keep going!" Exclamation mark.
Yeah.
Like that's the only thing she would ever really tell us.
That's great.
Because at the end of the day, that's what it takes, right? Is the perseverance and staying inspired.
And that's what we did.
Yeah.
We certainly
did it.
did.
We
You kept going.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, the three of
Thank
you.
you.
Folks, if you haven't seen Misery, Saturdays and Sundays, next weekend is what, the 7th and 8th?
Yes.
Okay, Saturday the 7th, Sunday the 8th. And then for Valentine's weekend, go see Misery.
It's a
Yes.
very interesting Valentine's Day date. Let me tell you,
You'll
it
love
doesn't
it.
get more interesting than that.
It'll be a killer time.
It will be a killer, a memorable one. You can find this podcast on my YouTube channel at Tami Goveia, LA Off the Record. Thank you for joining us. This will be in video and audio formats. We will be promoting the show. We'll be promoting this interview. Thank you as always. And until we meet again.